One Bad Day, Part 1. Before 9 o'clock, Richard's world was perfect. After a long 6 week period after Christmas, waiting to get paid, trying to live, which his money was well as good, was earned, years of getting to where he wanted to be. But borrowing soap from his roommates, clothes, money for buses, he was sick and tired of the 6 weeks. Buying the cheapest meats to feed himself, to being hungry most days, to walking to work instead of taking a quick bus journey. He was sick and tired of these 6 weeks. 4 weeks of grand, 28 days pay to pay was great. But this last 6 weeks tested him greatly. He was already making plans of next Christmas if he was still in the job. He was making plans to put money away so he wouldn't have to deal with the bullshit of 6 weeks of pay, of 6 weeks till getting paid again. It killed him. His managers hated it. His co-workers hated it. His supervisors hated it. The people in his team he led hated it. No one enjoyed it. People in head office didn't care. It was just how it was. Got paid a week before Christmas, and so happened you got paid the last Thursday of the month. Sadly, it was 6 weeks of pain. He needed new shoes. He walked through his shoes. All he could do was put a coaster in his shoes and keep on walking. He was hungry. He couldn't believe it at midnight when the money came in. Instantly buying new shoes online. Leaving the house early so he can stop and shop. Family's birthdays were coming up. He wanted to treat himself. He was delighted. But that was before 9 o'clock. Our story starts at the more interesting part of the day, after 9 o'clock. It was 12:10. On a surprisingly warm day, January. Near the end of January, close to February, an unprecedented warm day. The sun was spitting the bare trees. If you looked close enough, you could see the future lives of the tree, the leaves budding. You could see the people on the streets walking around with their jackets on their bags, or not wearing jackets, just wearing hoodies. Some men in their suits with their umbrellas by their sides, looking happy, whistling. But not Richard. Richard was behind a building down an alleyway, kicking the living crap out of a bag. Just a bag, a rubbish bag he took out of a dumpster. It might have been the 6th or 7th bag he's been kicking. His foot was sore, his hands were filthy. There were stains on his trousers from wiping the dirt from the bags on them. He kept on kicking and cursing and screaming. This was all at 10:12. Screaming into his hands so the people down the streets, down the alleyway, in the buildings, above the buildings, in the houses could not hear him screaming anger and rage over what has happened to him. Before 9 o'clock, his world was grey. He survived 6 weeks of torture. He survived the onslaught of no money. He finally has been paid. It is payday, and he is now without work. 12:10 is where his life has changed. Kicking the bag, missing the bag, and smacking the dumpster. He could feel something break, something give. Hopefully it was just his shoe. His foot was already in pain, agony. He did not want to look. He threw the bags now would have been compacted back into the dumpster. The anger in his body, his emotion was festering. He didn't know what to do. His life has changed dramatically. He needs to sign back on the dole. He needs to tell his roommates, his family, his friends, his mother, his father. All the days for it to happen. Why could it not be in a week's time? Why could it not be in a month's time? He loved that job. And for it to end like so sudden as it did, anger built in him. Anger that he could not control. He needed to let it out somehow. But Richard was a calm, calculating person who never really took risks. Was a nice guy, loved by all. He could not believe that he's been let go of his job. And as the manager said, we're not firing you, we're just not renewing your contract. It's a safe way of saying you sucked. We don't have to tell you why, but you're out the door, please. Please give me your badge, your clock in, and anything you belong to us back. So Richard, looking into the space, looking in to the skies, the blue skies, the birds, the people walking around, they're happy. They're all happy. They have coffee in their hands. They're enjoying themselves. He is hating himself. He is loading everything he has been through. It is unfair and unjust that has all happened to him. Before 9 o'clock, he enjoyed his life. He loved his life. 10 past 12, he hated everyone and everything in sight. He left the alleyway, limping slightly, rubbing his hair, his hands through his hair, taking the tie off and throwing it in a bin, spitting on the ground, screaming again without releasing volume or voice or anything, just making the emotion, making the gestures, looking at the sky and screaming. All internally. He left the alleyway to see a yellow jacket with pamphlets and an iPad, talking to people ignoring them gently, people saying fuck off, fuck you, people cursing and flipping off, taking the pamphlet and throwing it on the ground. Richard couldn't believe it. Either direction. Straight ahead was a yellow jacket, right and left was a yellow jacket, and he just dealt with it. He accepted his fate. And the yellow jacket walked up, and that was it. Hello, sir. Could you afford 50 cents a day? The man, the yellow jacket asked, said so nice and patiently, knowing that he hates his job, he hates everything about his job. But Richard looked at the man. It's a job is a job, he'll do it, he'll live with it. But fuck him for having a job, he doesn't have a job anymore. But Richard said, yeah, I can afford 50 cents, but what's the cause? Tigers, the man said. And he left it there, hanging in the air. Just hanging there. Tigers. Yes, sir, tigers. So tigers are endangered now. And the man continued on this spiel about how the wildlife in Africa and all around the world was dying. And if the tigers could die, the household cat could die. And Richard in his mind said, I don't care if cats, they can starve, they can die, they can rot. He does not care for anything right now in his life. Cats can fuck off. Rats can fuck off. But he let the man continue. He didn't stop and walk away. He let the yellow jacket continue his spiel. Now, so if you can afford 50 cents a day, that's around 15 euros a month. And if you can afford 15 euros, you can afford 20. And Richard saw where the man was going. He could see it. He understood where the man was going with this pitch. But Richard has just lost his job. Yes, he's just been paid a great sum of money. Well, he has to live with that sum of money till he gets paid again. Or he's on the dole. The dole could take months. Or he finds a job quickly enough or not. 20 I could afford, Richard said to the yellow jacket, in his head screaming, what are you doing? Why are you talking to this man? Walk away, walk away. And then the man talked him into it. It didn't take long, seconds or minutes, but Richard walked away with a pamphlet and has just signed up to a direct debit of 30 euros a month, something Richard himself cannot afford. He has a plan though, Richard, in his head. The yellow jacket gave him everything he needs. a little teddy bear of a tiger. A pamphlet's all about tigers and how they live and how they die and how they've been farmed and how they've been poached. Everything he needs to know about tigers. But Richard, as he walked away, paying €30 a month, a direct debit from his bank that he cannot afford no longer, or before, or cared, never. He knows what he can do. He'll return home, he'll get home, he'll go into his online banking, and he'll cancel the direct debit instantly. He will not forget. But it was done. The Yellow Jacket won. The Yellow Jacket somehow jumped the barrier of Richard's mind, ripped the door, made a door, talked him into it. From 15 to 20 to 30 a month. Richard was thinking, what happened to tenner a month? Why is it so much? Surely the money he's been given over these years, surely the money they've been given from everyone, could at least afford to put a wall around the tigers, to hug the tigers, to capture all the tigers, put them somewhere safe. But no! We still had to give money for the tigers. The pamphlet doesn't even say. He's glanced at it, he's looked at it, he will sit down and study it, but he cannot see where the money goes and what the money does to help them. The Yellow Jacket was great at his job. He may hate his job, he may not understand his job, but he does his job the best of his ability, and he got €30 from Richard, and he probably has got money from each person who has walked past him saying sorry, no, but he has said, can you afford 50 cents? Because that is it. You give him an inch, he'll take a mile. Richard loved the Yellow Jacket for his balls and his dedication for his job, a job he hates, and Richard is jealous of the job. But by God, Richard was pissed. €30, it's already been gone, it's already been taken. He cannot stop it, it's been done. Why did he learn his information? Why did he not just never learn it and had to deal with the whole will he, won't he, does he have money, does he not have money, does he have to find his own bank provider, their information, does he have to go to his own branch, put in his digits to find his code, to find how much money there is. He has the online banker, he has learned it, he should never have learned the codes. But it's over, it's done for. This is life for him now. €30 a month, but he will be smart, he will go home, he'll log on and he'll destroy it. He'll destroy the direct debit, he'll knock it down and it will be over. The Yellow Jacket will never know that he never gave them money. The Yellow Jacket will have no understanding of what he did. But Richard walks on, walks forward. Not hungry, but angry, so he stops at a corner shop, grabbing a drink, grabbing a pre-made sandwich, grabbing a Danish, and goes, fuck it! The park is where I'm going to be. The park is what I need to go. Is where I need to go, is what I need to do. The park. It's a sunny day. It is the beginning of the year. His dreams and everything he's worked for is gone. It's over. But the park is where he's off to. It's not that far. It's not even that big of a park. They call it a park, but if anything, it's just a garden. A long garden in one direction. A pond in the middle and many flowers all around. All asleep. It's beginning of the year. It is not spring yet. It is not summer. Nothing is bloom. But he picks a bench when no one's around him. He sees an old man and his granddaughter feed the ducks in the small little pond. The ducks look pissed. The girl walks over, breaks the bread up and throws it into the water. The ducks scream, but she cannot hear. This is my kitchen, this is my garden, this is my toilet, and you just threw my food that you were giving me into my bathroom. Throw it on the grass, the duck screams, but no one can hear it but other ducks. The girl laughs with her grandfather as they keep throwing the bread into the water, but her grandfather knows he's had ducks scream at him his entire life. He throws at the grass. Richard sits there. Making texts, building texts in his head to say to his mother. He cannot just ring his mother and say, I've been fired. He cannot do that. He can't just throw the ball in the air and knock it out of the park. He needs to ring them. He does not want this conversation with anyone. He was so happy to get this job, this manager job. Everyone was with him. Everyone was cheering him on. He did greatness. You did great. Everyone said you deserved it. You worked so hard to get it. He had it and he's now lost it. It is past 10 o'clock and his dreams are over. Before 9 o'clock, he had the world ahead of him. He had a list of things he was going to buy, things he needed and not needed. He's just bought shoes he does not longer need. But he sits there on the rickety bench in the park with people walking around, with mothers with strollers, with children laughing, with dogs walking around and pissing on everything, and a granddaughter and her grandfather feeding ducks as the ducks screaming at them have thrown it in the water. Where it is the kitchen, the toilet, the living room, everything in the water. He sits there and someone walks over and throws a leaflet in his face. It's a missing picture, a missing person's picture. Rachel O'Toole. She looks familiar, but he can't place it. And he looks up at an old lady. Hello? Have you seen my granddaughter? Richard is thrown back. He wasn't expecting someone to talk to him. He's a stranger. This woman is a stranger. All he knows is that's his granddaughter. This girl is missing. He takes the leaflet. Oh, sorry, she looks familiar, but maybe it's because I've seen these posters. I don't know. I'm very sorry. Is she been missing long? 2 weeks, the old lady says. She just disappeared one day. I think it was bad news or something, her and the fella. She's young though, only in her 20s. Oh. I'm very sorry for that, Richard replied. But please take a leaflet, please. The more people who know about Rachel, the better. Of course, he took the leaflet. He took 2 more. I'm very sorry for your loss. The old lady walked away and talked to the next person. Richard didn't know what to do. He looked at the missing picture. Rachel, in her 20s, just 20. Only turned 20 a week or 2 previously. He quickly eats his sandwich. The bread was dry and the meats were bad. His Danish was dry. He downed it all with his drink. She looked so familiar. She was pretty. The kind of girl that everyone falls in love with, but everyone is too scared to approach, to ask out. A soft face, she seemed tall, but so familiar. He gives up. He wanted to sit in the park and do nothing. He couldn't even wait 10 minutes. He left the park. He got the bus home. He lives in this massive house with a bunch of people. The landlord lives in England. Landlord really doesn't care. Doesn't even know if the rent is late or early. She's rich and the rent is cheap. Richard's been thinking about it. If he is smart, if he's truly smart, if he takes his time and understands what he needs to buy, he could get 2 months rent of what he's been paid. But he'll need to continue his lifestyle he's had recently. Buying cheap meats, pasta, rice, porridge. I'm just trying to get by till he finds something new. He gets in and one of his roommates, Kate, is in the sitting room watching some daytime talk show. The topic is Beauty or the Beast. It's all about couples that don't work but do work. You're back early, Kate said, not looking away from the TV. She had a phone in one hand, texting away with someone. He jumped onto the couch from behind, thrown his bag to the other side, and he explained quickly, I lost my job. What? She dropped her phone, she picked the remote and paused the TV. Let me make you tea. The kettle's on, she stormed off. See, Kate recently has given up smoking, and she's decided in her mind the best way to give up smoking is smoke only when you're drinking tea or coffee. It has to be one or two, one or the other. So anytime you talk to her about anything, she goes, "Stop! I'll put the kettle on." She knows the cup he likes. She knows the tea he likes. He knows everything she knows everything he likes about his tea, his beverages. She makes him a tea and comes back, puts the tea down, takes her smokes out and lights one up instantly. "Go on, I'm listening. Puffing away. She smokes like she doesn't enjoy, just to try to inhale it as fast as possible. Right, so before I get into it, Kate, is Henry home or Paul? Henry's home. Grant. And Henry walked into the room. He's also trying to give him smokes, so he sits on the chair the furthest away from them. It's a big room, and he starts eating his nails, and he says the same question. "You're home early." And Richard rubs his eyes, exhales, and explains, "I got fired." "Sorry, not fired. My contract wasn't renewed." "Fuck me. What happened?" Henry asked. "And Polly's not in." No, Polly's not in," Henry replied. "Alright, so I got into work. I got in there. It was grand. Got in early. I was looking at presents for people. It was my brother's birthday and sister's. Got in and got to the boss's office. We share office now. And I got in there and he says, "We need to have a talk." And he says, "I'm ending your contract. We're not renewing your contract." And it was a big old deal, and I don't really want to talk about it, but what I got was, it wasn't his decision, it was from someone higher up. But it was done, it's over. It's over. So, didn't you just get paid? Yeah. So they don't have to pay you next month. I think I'll get something. But yeah, I'm done. Wow, that's shit. Yeah, I know. I haven't even told my ma yet. Not looking forward to the conversation with her. You better call her eventually. I know. I don't really want to. I've texted no one. I'm sure the staff and the lads are wondering why I'm not in yet. Did he explain why he was letting you go? It came from higher up about, I'm not working as strong as I should be. But I don't get it. But I've done everything I've been asked for. I threw the ball up in the air and knocked out of the park every time. I've gone above and beyond. Fuck them. Just fuck them, Richard. Fuck them, Kate said, finishing a smoke. And as her tea was still warm, the loophole in her mind that she created, the rules that she set out in life, she took another smoke and lit up. You'll find something new. You'll find something. Don't worry. You'll be grand, Kate said. This time, and taking the drink, taking the smoke slower and seeming to enjoy it. She hasn't even touched her tea yet. Her tea is still warm. It's piping. The steam is wafting from the cup. Fuck them. Henry on the other side, eating his nails. It seemed to be all four of his nails in his mouth at once, trying to eat them. Shit one, man. Shit one. What are you going to do about rent? "Oh, I have that covered for a while," Richard responded. Do you have enough money to last, though? "Well, I'm going to go to the Dole tomorrow." "Mate, it's... Oh, well, it's Thursday. You probably catch it." I know. "Then you can come out," Henry said. "I'm not coming out tonight." You should. You'll have fun." "I don't want to go out tonight." "Come on, you haven't gone out in ages. You always keep complaining about, oh, you never have fun anymore. Look, now you can have some fun. Paul's going out. We're all going out." "Samantha's going out," he said. "I'll think about it." Kate's staring at the TV, even though it was still paused. And then Richard's phone lit up. He saw it was his mother and he left the room. Richard's cup lay there, terrified. Terrified that he'll never be drank. Terrified that he'll live in this cup. He'll cool down. Every second he gets cooler and cooler and cooler. The hotness, the heat is dropping and dropping. The two roommates chit-chat about how it sucks and turns the TV back on. Unpauses the chat show of the Beauty and the Beast. Richard's in the other room telling his mother what happened. His mothers always have a sixth sense. The tea got cold and cold. Richard finally returned to the room. Down the drink. The tea celebrated in joy and was over. Did you tell you, Matt? Kay asked. Yeah, I told her. How'd you take it? Well, I'm going to Uncle Bob's funeral tonight. Oh, the uncle. Dead uncle. Great. Oh, where is it? It's in like the south. Like deep south. So deep south you could call it the north. Alright, I'll grab a shower and I'll talk to you later. Alright, enjoy.